Maybe one of the greatest mysteries on the planet could very well be a young, extremely attractive Filipina who's in a relationship or even married to a much older man who, frankly, is old enough to be her grandfather. For many people, the mind will boggle, and of course, the answer is obvious. She's a gold digger waiting for a man to die so she gets the lot. Or perhaps she's after a green card and will leave him for a man more suited to her own age. But is it as straightforward as it seems, or are we just not seeing the bigger picture here? Well, I have some thoughts on this based on speaking to hundreds of Filipinas and men in relationships with Filipinas over the past 6 years. What I have to say here may be rather controversial, so be sure to buckle up and stay with me here. Let's address the gold digger aspect first. Now, absolutely, there are Filipinas who are certainly gold diggers or looking for a green card with a view to bigger and better things down the track, and they're prepared to wait a few years. But this also happens in many other countries worldwide, so really, it's not fair to make it like the Filipinas have exclusive rights to the gold digger tag. From what I see, the difference often is that a Filipina who may be in her 20s, maybe with a man close to or over 70, is usually very attractive. Whereas in Western countries like Australia, the UK and USA to name a few, these women aren't as attractive unless they're going after famous or extremely wealthy men. The average woman in those countries will be accepted by a much older man even if she's average looking. So of course, older men see on the internet and they hear from others about finding a young Filipina in her 20s to possibly marry. And suddenly, that gets the brain ticking over. But what is it that he's really thinking at this time? Well, we can't speak for every man in the world who may seek out a Filipina young enough to be his granddaughter, but I'll tell you this in a general sense. Firstly, these men are in the last years of their life, and so the care factor is zero. What I mean by this is simply these men have gone through much in their lives, and so now, for some at least, they really don't care what people think of them or what others have to say about them. They'll just do whatever they want. And when they have this final opportunity to be with a beautiful young woman, they see it as something that they don't want to pass up. And yes, maybe it's what we would call a dirty old man. But as I said, his care factor on what you think is zero. Now, of course, that's the number one reason what an old man will possibly see in a young Filipina, but it may not be the only reason. He also understands that his time on this planet is limited, and not too far away, maybe the time will come where he'll need help in many areas of his life. Yes, I'm referring to more around a live-in carer to assist him in his daily needs, and even around his sexual needs as required. To be blunt, having a live-in carer in his country would cost far too much for the average man. And then what about his sex life? Where does he get it? For him, of course, that could be rather expensive if you get my drift. He knows that a Filipina can cover all his needs for the rest of his life, whether it be in his country or in the Philippines. And if you look at it from his point of view, is it really such a bad decision financially? Now, morally is a whole other topic which I won't delve into at this time. I see and I've spoken to many Filipinas and old men in such relationships, and I do see some that appear, well, at least on the outside, to be one of care and compassion, but I'm yet to be convinced that there's real love involved from either party. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible, just that I haven't seen it for myself. But if the two in the relationship are consenting adults and are both gaining what they need from such a relationship, then is it really anyone else's place to judge them? I know it's hard not to think certain negative things about both of them, but is it really any of our business? And then we could certainly look at a Filipina's mindset around what she truly sees in a much older foreign man. And would she even date or marry a Filipino man of the same age? But we may leave that for another video. Let me know your thoughts around this rather controversial and sensitive topic in the comments below in a respectful way, of course. And if you want to learn more about age gap relationships with a Filipina, be sure to click the card appearing on screen now. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe and take care.